Afternoon, I'm Pastor Mark with Amazing Grace Community Church. We're out here in Aspen Springs, a suburb of Pagosa Springs, Colorado. We're in southwest Colorado. And we have the sheep barn behind us. My family and I live on this property. We have about 10 acres. This church began about 9 years ago when I was driving around Aspen Springs, and I stopped down on the road, and I just felt like God was saying to me, I want you to plant a church right here. I didn't really want to plant another church, but I said, okay, God, and He miraculously gave us this property. And over the years, this property has been built out. As we do a tour over the property, you'll see, I'll explain to you all of the changes and things that have happened. But to start with, when we moved here, this was a hillside. This was forest land. None of these buildings were here. It's been an awesome journey, and I'm excited to share it with you. And here we are at the front of the sheep barn. This is our church sanctuary. We call it a sheep barn because that's the picture that Jesus uses for His followers, that we are sheep and He is our shepherd. When we began this church, we started digging holes in the ground to build this structure, and it was all an action of faith. We didn't have the money to do it. We had some given to us, but we just decided, let's get started in faith. While we were digging, the church originally started in the house. We were meeting in the house for probably 3 years. We had the food pantry in the house. We totally consumed the house, and finally we decided we need to build our own building, and thus the sheep barn came about. Where I'm standing used to be a hillside coming down to the corner of the building. The building is flat now, but it used to be a hill. And when we were building, we didn't know how we were going to have parking and how we were going to move this hillside away. And there was a miracle of a bulldozer. One day we were in Durango, and one of our church members was drilling a well for this person there, and he said, I have a bulldozer, would you like a bulldozer? And they said, well, I don't know, how much? And so he said, I'll give it to you for $2,000. So we got it onto a trailer, towed it all the way here to Pagosa, and we used it for 3 or 4 months, carving this hillside away, flattening up the entire property. This used to be hills, and now it's flat. After 3 or 4 months, we still had not paid the guy because he was gone, and we didn't know where he was to pay him. And we actually sold the bulldozer for more than we paid for it before we had to pay him. Finally, we found him and paid him. And it was just a miracle that God provided for this church, the people of faith, who just said, yeah, let's do it. Here at Amazing Grace Community Church, we love kids, and we want them just to have fun, and we want them to play like we did when we were kids. And we have this great dirt hill. The kids love this dirt hill. They're running up and down it, they're sliding down it. We put ropes on it for them to climb up and tires for them to climb up, and then during the winter they're sledding down it. It has turned into an awesome playground for the kids, and we don't have to spend a lot of money making all the fancy playground equipment. This is just real down-to-earth playtime for our kids. This is our Amazing Grace School of Ministry. This is where we do our discipleship training with our children and teens. We don't call it Sunday school, we call it discipleship training, because that's our objective. We want to train up kids to be disciples of Jesus. We don't want to just give them head knowledge. We want to know them following Jesus. We have an open Sunday school room, and we do our vacation Bible camp here during the summer. Kids bring their tents. This place is full of tents, kids camping out for a week. This year we had martial arts demonstrations and taught kids how to do that. We taught the kids how to do archery. We took them fishing for a whole day. This is truly a camp in the middle of the city area. Behind me is our Firewood ministry for needy people. During the winter it gets very cold and wood can get very expensive. So we give out firewood for emergencies. The firewood is donated throughout the year from tree mitigation companies. We have volunteers come and we cut it up and split it, get it dried out, and give out good quality firewood. We say to people, if they want some firewood, come help us split some of it and then take some with you. And that way they help serve the community. And here we have our community building. We have a community kitchen that we use for our vacation Bible camp, church picnics. During the summer, during food pantry days, we provide free lunches for people. The church comes and they celebrate that day with people coming to the food pantry. We have Bible study during those days, and we provide a lunch for those in the church that are coming to Bible study. But this is a community kitchen, and if somebody's in need, it's always here for them. Come around with me and let me show you the other side of the building. In our shower, we provide it free, no charge to anyone, and we provide toiletries and towels. Those things are donated throughout the year. You might wonder, why would somebody need to come to our church to take a shower? Well, in Aspen Springs, the majority of the people have to haul water. They have to go get water and bring it to their house. And sometimes they don't have a truck, sometimes they're just out of water, and they have a need, and we're here to help them. What do you say we go in and check out the sheep barn? Amazing Grace Community Church is the one another place. In the Bible, Jesus tells us to love one another, serve one another, help one another, and that's what we try to do. We have the chairs set up in a circular format so that we're all engaged with each other. Our church service is not a performance. It's a coming together and a fellowship, and we have just such great times singing and dancing, and then we have a one another time where people can share what's going on in their lives, how God's working in their lives, testimonies. It's amazing when people get a chance to share what we find out about God. We try to do anything we can to help the community, to love others like Jesus. The doors are open 24/7, so if somebody needs immediate emergency shelter, in the middle of the winter, they're freezing, they can come in, they can make a fire, and we offer free weddings. There are so many people that want to get married, and people are judging them for living together, but we want to be part of the solution, so we offer free weddings. We've had many people take us up on that, and I can't tell you the joy that this church has in putting on a wedding for you. We have people that decorate, people that cook food. It's amazing how they come together to help people out. As I said earlier, we started this church 9 years ago, and actually the first 5 weeks we're in a campground called Happy Camper here in Aspen Springs. This cross behind me was a couple sticks that we found on the ground, and we lashed them together and stuck them in the sand pit where we had our first church service. I went around to all of the campers in the campground, knocked on their campers, and invited them to church. We still have somebody that we met at that campground coming to church every week for these last 9 years. I hope you've enjoyed our tour. One thing I can say is everybody I meet, the first time they come inside this church, this sheep barn, they say, I can feel the peace and the love. And we invite you to come experience that. We know that if you take the chance and you come, people will love you. You will experience God in a way that maybe you've never experienced Him. So if you'd like to know more before you come, check out our website. It's www.amazinggracecc.org. amazinggracecc.org. We look forward to meeting you.